Uh, it is a pure, pure joy to welcome every single one of you to this deep dive exploration. Sometimes I call it a transmission because my task is to get out the way and allow the spirit to move your soul through this physical vehicle called Katerina, right? Through my voice. So every time I step into the container that called the live stream, I invoke Divine Mother, I invoke the beings of light, and I literally ask them to begin to reach the souls through the message that is meant to for the community, for my online community. And this live stream will be shared on YouTube and Vimeo afterwards, because I've noticed some people are taking a break from Facebook. Oh, my darlings, I invite you to see this really powerful platform that we have as Facebook, and just become really selective where your attention goes. You know, disconnect from the noise, disconnect from profiles that are not uplifting you, and just become very, very selective, because our biggest asset is our attention. It is literally our most prized asset. It's not our time, it's not our money, it's where our attention goes. No wonder there is such an expression, pay attention. With our attention, we pay, it's a currency, we invest, right? So I do not take your attention lightly, and I will do my very best to make sure that at the end of this live stream, your hope, your sense of confidence in your path, your sense of this beautiful delight in your life, and your sense of trust in the way that your path unfolds, all of that will be uplifted, and you will feel reconnected to your true power, the power of your soul. So if you have a comment or a question throughout this live stream, please put them on the comments, and then I will take a look a few times through the transmission. I will check them to make sure that I can cover as many questions as possible. But before we begin, I invite all of us to connect with our bellies, slowing down our nervous system, and begin to breathe into our bellies. The more we build an intimate relationship with our belly, not from the perspective of a six-pack. Six-pack is great, but I invite us to go deeper. You know, there's the biggest challenge for humanity right now is our deep challenge to slow down and feel ourselves through this acceleration. We call it ascension, we call it global awakening, right? Everything speeds up. And when everything speeds up, the greatest challenge for us human beings is to slow down and feel everything. So I invite us, darlings, to really begin to value this portal of manifestation, of creation, and it's your belly. It is the womb space for women and Hara space for men. And some of you already know this and embody and practice it, and some of you will be so delighted to learn this. But this is your manifestation portal, and the more you slow down your nervous system, and the more you take deep, deep, deep breaths, the more rooted you become in your true stability, and the less you become frazzled by the unexpected twist on your path. The more you begin to welcome the unknown, you begin to celebrate the uncertainty instead of being frightened by it. And today I will share with you very simple practices of how I personally interact with change, with uncertainty, and with unknown. Because let's be frank, my loves, unknown is a part of life. So I feel guided to go there right now. You know, there's this deep alchemy happens when we begin to rewire our default response to unknown, to tomorrow, to next moment, to next year, right? If you had a stressful, unstable childhood, like so many of us did, that you did not know when the other shoe would drop. This was definitely my story. You know, So many moments of my childhood was filled with uncertainty, was filled with fear. And we would be fools if we begin to imagine that we can simply close the door on what we experienced as we were little and pretend that it doesn't affect us. Rewiring of these unconscious default responses to life takes time and takes incredible patience and takes incredible gentleness with yourself. So the more unknown begins to arise in the collective, right? The structures that seemed certain for us, they begin to crumble faster and faster. Financial structures, political structures. How can we make sure that within our world we find that secret garden of serenity? We begin by rewiring our default attitude towards unknown. And I wrote down a couple things for you, my loves. First of all, is to remember, recite if you require, write it down on your walls that you see it every single day, this equation. Change equals evolution. You know, if I ever got a tattoo, if I ever got a second tattoo, it would be like this: change, evolution. So change is always for evolution. Life never goes backwards. We are part of life, so we cannot go backwards. We are designed to evolve. And we evolve at the most when the winds of change come into our life. So change equals evolution. That's a big, big principle that I've tested in my life, you know, and life demanded me to test it, you know, with every new wave and tsunami of change until it became an embodied wisdom. So change equals evolution. And the second one, uncertainty equals adventure. Uncertainty equals adventure. Change equals evolution. Uncertainty equals adventure. And I offer this to you, my beloved hearts, as a great experiment. Please don't believe anything I say. I invite you to take it, and like an innocent child, you begin to experiment with these ideas, with this concept, and just see if your life begins to feel more like a flow, more like a beautiful dance, more like exciting adventure. Right, darlings? So when the wave uncertainty comes, and the reason I take every August is my sabbatical. I don't teach and I don't coach. I still serve the collective with some, you know, value live streams. But there is a reason for it. The reason every summer feels quite a bit intense. And the moment you begin to pay attention to eclipses, full moon, new moon, Lion's Gate, right? You know, the summer is just such a ripe time for a rebirth of our consciousness. So the moment you begin to pay attention to that, you cannot unsee it. Like once you see it, you can't unsee it. And so many people write to me and say, Katerina, what's going on in the cosmos? This has been intense. And, you know, we just came out of the July. July really demanded from us to connect with our deep emotional current, right? July is ruled by the astrological sign Cancer. July felt like I feel, and we were asked to feel, you know, the uncomfortable parts of ourselves. We were asked to feel maybe deeply repressed disappointments. We were asked to feel our own restlessness, our own impatience, our own insecurities. And why we're being asked to feel that? Because what we refuse to feel, we can never heal. So there is a reason why every month is governed by a very specific astrological sign, by a very specific element, right? So we will never heal what we refuse to feel. And every repressed emotion is a spiritual lesson unactualized. So there is a great tendency, if whether we are not never had a role models in our families of a safe and sacred process of feeling our deep emotional currents. If all we saw is our father being shut down, our mother being explosive in her rage, my scenario right here, if we never had role models, what does it look like to be healthy, emotionally connected and expressed? This pattern will absolutely carry forward in our adulthood. So when we experience eclipses or full moon like today, or Lionsgate, all these cosmic, major, massive portals where increase of divine, pure light coming down to the planet, we're almost like being pushed towards really feeling whatever we repressed. This was the energy of July. So if it was heavy for you emotionally, I am here to be the carrier of the good news that we completed that cycle. We are in a new month and a new experience. Now we're in the element of fire, where we're connecting to this powerful sense of willpower, of power's liberating sense of our creativity and enthusiasm to actually go and create our next dream, our next vision, bring something that is so dear to our heart to the world. And of course, my loves, just because we finished the month of feelings, the month of Cancer, it doesn't mean that we can just put our feelings into the box and wait until the next eclipse. No. I am still learning. I am still learning to feel my way through ascension. And it's often deeply uncomfortable because as human beings, it's a challenge for us to unconditionally accept ourselves. It's a real challenge, darlings. And I want to speak into that because maybe there could be a tendency, where you look at people who are very accomplished, who have a big charisma, who are in the spotlight, and it's very easy to assume that they are really equipped with dealing with their emotional turbulence. Often, very much, it's quite the opposite. So I am here to share with you that oftentimes it's such a challenge for me. And I find myself literally by my devotional altar praying to Divine Mother, to the feminine face of the divine, right? I pray to the Divine Mother to prepare my heart, to excavate those deeply repressed wounds so I can see them, embrace them, and nurture myself to a next level of emotional expansion, emotional ascension, right? So we're not going out there, we're not taking off in flight, we're actually going deeper and deeper in. Let me take a look, taking just a moment to connect with your yes. So I will tie it all together, my loves. When change comes your way, when uncertainty comes your way, and you and I can count on that it's gonna come, right? What tends to happen, it triggers some layers of unconscious distrust to life. And unconscious meaning that on the conscious level, we don't even catch it, but we feel it as emotional wave in the body. Like emotional wave of restlessness, emotional wave of like a pit in my stomach. I feel alone in this, I can't trust life. I'm trying to surrender. I'm again in surrender here, right? So that's what I mean by unconscious distrust in life. And every time a new or old fear arises in your awareness, maybe it's the old fear that you are not really ready to meet this new change. Maybe you feel like, you know what? I have this dream, I have this idea that I know in my heart is going to liberate me from this financial struggle if I just dare to offer this creation into the world. And when you're about to offer it into the world, everything freezes. And your conscious mind begins to come up with 1,001 reasons why this idea is worthless. Or it's already been done, it's already been created. And maybe you can just take a couple more months to perfect it before you can offer it to the world. Let me know in the comments if you've ever been in those situations. It's just another layer, it's just another symptom of unconscious distrust in life. So how do we rewire this, my loves? How do we rewire this? You know, the practice that I cultivate, it's not something that I arrived and I've mastered and I've conquered it. No. It's a practice, just like a yoga practice. Practicing of being courageous, practicing of being innovative, of being creative is a practice. Just like every time you are on a yoga mat, every time you go on the run, every time you're at the gym, it's practice. So you train your courage muscle, you train your muscle of trusting in life. Every time where you feel the turbulence of offering your creative genius in the world, of stepping on your true hero's journey, of not knowing what tomorrow brings, and your current reality doesn't look that stable, and choosing to stay in the fire of that transformation, choosing to allow whatever life brings you to experience to deepen your courage, to deepen your confidence in your path, to deepen your ability to walk through the portal of transformation with an inner smile. And there's two parts to it. So I offered you two key principles: change equals evolution, right, darlings? And uncertainty equals adventure. So just try them on. It's almost like two pair of wings that you have. Change, evolution, uncertainty equals adventure. So you have evolution and you have adventure. Every time life turns unexpectedly, completely new way, and maybe the old tools that you relied on stopped working. Your old ways of doing business stopped working. Your old ways of finding and enrolling new clients don't fly anymore, right? It's because you're being asked by your higher self to unlock a next level of innovation in your life, to unlock a next level of badassness in your life, and to unlock a next level of generosity in your soul and bravery. So we have evolution and we have adventure. And at the core of these two wings that you have, one secret sauce. And some of you know that I talk about this all the time, but you know what? Repetition is the mother of all knowledge. Every time I share, we ground it in, we go deeper and deeper and deeper. So there is this alchemical tool that every single person has. Every single person has. It doesn't matter if one person looks like it has more resources, more connections, more influence, and the other person is just beginning on the path. You know, one thing both of them have in common. And it's their attitude. So please write this down, the secret to life. This is the major secret to life, my loves. My attitude determines what happens next. While I am taking a sip of water. My attitude determines what happens next. You know, if there is a magic school, if I ever launch and lead a school of magic, you never know what's going to come through. It will be the first principle that I'll teach, that our attitude determines what happens next. And there's two kind of components to that. What do I mean by our attitude determines what happens next? This came not from me. This came from an incredible teacher, Richard Rudd, who brought us the most evolutionary synthesis of all wisdom teachings called the Gene Keys. But he says that we get to become really aware of our habitual pattern of thinking. And there is an interesting pivot, my loves. Every time you let go of unconscious resistance and unconscious distrust in life, and how are you going to catch it? Because it's unconscious, right? How are you going to catch it? I'll tell you an example. So last week, my darlings, a crown on my tooth fell off. So, and it's like one of my main chewing teeth, right? So I couldn't chew anything on this side of the face. How exciting. So when that happened, and I already had, this year asked me to invest a lot of resources into my health. Some of you know I went through explant surgery. I took out of my body breast implants that I took in, driven by unconscious insecurity and vanity, insecurity mostly. And they've been really poisoning my body. So I took them out of my body, right? And that entire surgery came out of my pocket. So insurance doesn't cover it. And then this year was just really a strong trial, you know, like one thing after the next. Then there was a massive tax bill. Then there was, you know, the teeth work. So basically crown fell out. And I caught myself getting really frustrated. I was like, oh, not this. Come on. Can I get a break this year? And it was so funny to actually feel that, like feel the frustration, not spiritually bypass it, not pretend that this is an inconvenient experience and my body feels frustrated. But the next moment, this is where the alchemy happens. The alchemy, after you feel the discomfort, you know, uncomfortable experience, right? Feel the frustration, feel the anger, feel that whatever arises in your body, don't pretend that it's not frustrating. And then the alchemy of changing your attitude, because you know your attitude determines what happens next. So then I lean on my tool and I say, Katerina, I talk to myself a lot, darlings. During this process, I said to myself, Katerina, where's the gift here? And what would it look like to fully open your heart to this experience? And, you know, simply that question, am I willing to open my heart to this experience? And you know how you track it in the body? It's actually really easy to track it in the body. An opening of your heart, you begin to feel your shoulders dropping and this ethereal softness begin to feel you, right? And a closing down your heart feels in the body as tightness and constriction and a lack of flow. So this is the easiest way that I found that I can track in the moment of distress. In the moment of distress, I can track, right? And I can say, I know that my attitude determines what happens next. I know if I simply open my heart, if I find a way to relax my nervous system through breathing, through laughter, if I find a way to find an inner smile, you know, if I can find a way to laugh at myself, right? and say, you know what? I am being trained to become a master at meeting anything that life brings me with grace, with inner smile, and with an open, soft, and willing heart. So what happened next? After I did this alchemy, which only took 1 minute, my loves, which only took 1 minute. So in the beginning, if some of you are new to this process, it might take a little bit longer, but you want to welcome that. You're building an intimacy with your heart. You're building an intimacy with your heart, right? So you want to welcome that. And then it becomes, soon it becomes a habit. Soon it becomes like a muscle in your body, but it's going to be a muscle in your emotional body. So I wanted to share with you that yesterday I was in a dental chair for 6 hours, my loves. And I got all my dental work done, and I actually trailblazed this amazing resource, not only for myself, but for entire community. So if you are an entrepreneur like me, if you're a consultant, if you're a coach, if you're self-employed, then you, my loves, know that it's almost ridiculous to sign up for a dental insurance. Even if you have a good one, it's not going to cover much if you go into American dentistry, right? Am I right or am I right? So I have a medical insurance, but I don't have a dental insurance for a reason. And I was connected to this incredible holistic biodental clinic right on the border with Mexico. So I live in Laguna Beach, about 90 minutes drive. So if you live in San Diego, even closer. And it's a holistic clinic, darlings. I went there. I got fixed all 7 teeth. Can you imagine 7 teeth, 6 hours in the chair? And they work super, super fast and just amazing. And I paid like 1/3 of what I would pay here. So the reason I'm sharing this very grounded, very human experience. So number one, you know that it's okay to feel human turbulence. It is not non-spiritual to feel human turbulence. You want to feel the human turbulence so you can transmute it, so you can alchemize it through the power of your heart, and you can prove to yourself the great secret of life, that our attitude determines what happens next. So from a higher perspective, let me dare to offer you this perspective. Now on the higher level, right, on the transcendental level, your higher self divinely orchestrate these experiences for you to prepare your humanness, to make it really strong, to make it really resilient, because the change is only going to keep on coming. And it's going to keep on coming faster and faster and faster. And if our roots are strong, there is no need to fear the wind. So every time you do this process of intimacy with your heart, you make your roots strong. When you get at that point where you begin to laugh, a crown fell out, 5 crowns fell out, and you just begin to laugh. You're like, this is so hilarious to be human. This is just so entertaining, right? And then you shift into curiosity. My attitude is in check. I am with my open heart. I wonder what will happen next. I wonder what this experience will bring. Instead of habitual mindset for so many people who are trapped in the victim consciousness. When you are really trapped in the victim consciousness, it's very hard to see. That's why, for us light workers, we've been asked to be compassionate for those people who cannot see their own, trapped mind, right? It's very hard to see because what's the language of a victim consciousness is, why is this happening to me? Not again, why is this happening to me, right? Or it's been a bad luck, I've been in the bad luck, whatever that is. So compassion for those moments whenever we catch ourselves there. But this is the great alchemical key alchemical secret that our attitude determines what happens next. So softening our hearts, right? Softening our hearts, beloveds. And let's see, there were a couple requests. Let me know. So, and darlings, my dental doctor was so handsome. He was so handsome. I walked into this dentist's office. I was like, a doctor looks like a model, and worked so fast, and just exquisite experience. And I got IV therapy. You can get vitamin C. And obviously, I do not get a dime from promoting them. They have no idea that I'm promoting them. When I trailblaze an amazing resource like this, it is selfish not to share. So I'm sharing this with you, and I will post a link to the clinic. And if you are on my email list, you will receive an email that will has all the links to this clinic. Let me see. Yeah, Raluca says I need the name of that clinic. Yes, darling. So I will share that. Let me take a look. Yes, Nikki. Okay, I see your comments, darlings. So when I talk about, let's see, a lot of requests when I said, what do you desire to hear on this live stream? A lot of that was about trusting, right? And trusting the flow of life has been such a theme for me. You know, the moment I stepped on the path of entrepreneurship, of really trailblazing my own path in the world, if you don't have trust, you're pretty much done, right? And how do you trust? Well, every time you meet a challenge with an open heart, your trust begins to deepen. It's like that metaphor of having deep, deep roots, right? Every time. So when people say, well, why is it so challenging? You know, I am on the path of consciousness. I do my inner work. I strive for the light. And why does it appear to be that challenges in my life not have decreased, but kind of increased? So I propose this radical idea that it is a very, very normal part of rewiring of your mental patterns, of your emotional patterns, and helping you to build very strong roots. The moment you begin to live by the guidance of your soul, the moment you commit to your life to service to all, the moment you begin to strive to make a difference, to live a life of meaning, purpose, contribution, your higher self will begin to initiate your consciousness in the great process of making your root system very strong. And how does a tree become strong? If you ever seen a big trees, well, they are becoming so big and so strong because they have weathered many storms. So every storm that comes into your life is designed to bring a clearing of the clutter. And the clutter could be mental, emotional, or physical clutter. So every time you find yourself in the void and you feel the restless energy in your body, you don't know how to calm yourself. Intellectually, you know, I am in a big void. I am an unknown. I am going through a rebirth right now. But physically, you find it's very challenging to calm down the restlessness. I want you to know it is totally normal. And here is my tool, how I do it. I begin to declutter my environment. In the physical process of simplifying and removing the clutter, removing anything unnecessary, not beautiful, and not useful, it begins to create a spaciousness in my consciousness. it begins to calm my emotional body. So this is a number one tool, is to keep purging. Literally, when you are in the void, you're being given a precious, precious time in your life, a precious time to learn surrender, to learn humility, to learn the deeper trust. So give yourself permission to purge relationships that are too heavy for you, that are too toxic, that you simply evolved out. And declutter your home. And there's a beautiful process when you clear, you actually move excess energy out of your hands. You have powerful, potent chakras in your palms. Just because you can't see them doesn't mean that you don't have them. So there is a reason when we sometimes, writers say, people who write for a living, they say, I cannot write in a cluttered environment, right? There's a reason for that. And they begin to declutter, they begin to purge everything, remove, create space. And then they sit down and they write, and the flow of the writing begins to come through much differently. So this is a very practical tool that doesn't cost you a cent, but it's very healing for you energetically. You move the energy in your environment, you move the energy within, and then you feel that new sense of aliveness, right? So this is very, very powerful. The second tool that I'm going to offer to you every time you feel restless, maybe it feels like big body anxiety, of a lot of unknown in your life, a lot of uncertain in your life, is to remember to energize your body. The more you energize your body, the more you energize your spirit. It's a simple equation. So going on a run or doing Kundalini yoga, once again, if you just go to YouTube and start searching Kundalini yoga, and begin to learn these powerful processes of moving energy out of the body. What I love about Kundalini yoga, it's so repetitive that it almost takes you into slight trance, it kind of takes you into slight trance. And you breathe, then you oxygenate your body, you move your body, and you also build up a fortitude, a sense of determination and resilience, and I remember the first time I started Kundalini yoga, I could only last 15 minutes. It was so humbling for me. It was so humbling. I was like, I feel like a weakling. This is hilarious. I can only last 15 minutes. And once again, the process of being compassionate with yourself, and you say, okay, I'm going to give my all to these 15 minutes. So whenever you re-energize the body, you re-energize your soul, and a new current of insight will arise from the body into your heart. Where are my tools over here? And a tool number 3 that wants to come through is begin to immerse yourself with working with sound. I brought a very simple Tibetan bells that you can buy in any mystical shop. And the way you use them, you put them right here to the side. And this could be a beautiful sound therapy for you. Sound has a profound effect on our consciousness. So be very discerning what kind of music you listen, what kind of conversations you allow in your mind and you allow around of yourself, because the sound penetrates to the core of your cellular structure. Sound can either give information to your cells to expand, or give information to your cells to contract and to die. So if you listen to aggressive music that doesn't have any soul, or you're in an environment that has that, I really encourage you to become to create a boundary for yourself that, you know, a music that distorts your consciousness doesn't reach you in a way. So surround yourself with beautiful music. If once again, if you go on YouTube, there's an incredible channel called Meditative Mind, and there are so many solfeggio frequencies. Solfeggio frequencies are incredible healing musical technology that a different level of frequency designed to attune different energy centers in your body, different brain waves in your body. So another way is also just playing, listening to sacred chants or mantras. But the sound will really have a calming effect on your energy body. And when your energy body, your nervous system is calm, you will see your life in a much calmer way, and you will move through the transition, whether it's a rebirth, whether it's a void, whether it's a brave leap into expansion. You know, they all kind of bring up very similar feelings for us. And it's the butterflies in our stomach, and sometimes it's like these currents of turbulence, you know, and we feel deeply vulnerable in our humanity. We remember that we're this immortal soul. We remember that this lifetime is not our first round, right? But we get to embody that remembrance in a very vulnerable human body. So during those moments, these are the tools. If you have just joined, I encourage you to replay this live stream. I've shared so many practical tools. And I wanted to share with you 2 books and 1 oracle card deck, something like that. I wanted, you know, I desire to share with you powerful books. So when I looked at my bookshelf and I said, Spirit, which books would be really powerful for my community? 2 books of the same author, and she's the one that is running for president right now. You guessed it, Marianne Williamson. You know, I have recently re-examined my attitude towards political scene. I tend to simply stay away from it, kind of observe from the distance. But I had a beautiful heart-expanding conversation with my spirit sister, with one of my spirit sisters, and it really helped me see that, you know, even though there's very little chance of Marianne actually winning at this president campaign, her message is very potent, and there's a great opportunity to support her and her message to be heard on major platforms and reach the masses. So for that reason, I give her my support, because this is the woman that really changed my life with her books, with her message. And there's a couple books, my loves. The number 1, you see how it's like old and really used. It's called The Law of Divine Compensation by Marianne Williamson, on work, money, and miracles. If you've read it again, please read it again. If you've read it before, please read it again. You know, because every time at the new level of your consciousness, you will see it much differently. You will absorb it much differently. So The Law of Divine Compensation. And some people were asking me about, you know, to speak about the worthiness issues, worthiness, sense of worthiness. And I felt really strongly to offer you this perspective. What would be different in our lives if we begin to let go of even this idea that what's holding us back is worthiness issue? It almost feels to me as an outworn outfit. You know, like the high school jeans that you used to fit and you don't fit anymore because that style, you outgrew it, you evolved out of it. So simply a perspective, because sometimes I understand in the beginning it can absolutely feel like a wound of self-worth, wound of worthiness. I speak to those of you who have been carrying that for some time now. And I simply invite you to experiment. Simply see what would happen if you just imagine that you can let go of that and say, what if it's not my worthiness issues? What if it's my skill set? What if it's my business mastery? What if it's my people skills? What if it's my ability to express myself? Because then if it's our skills, we can do something about it, my loves. You can absolutely develop your skills in business. You can absolutely learn to become more brave and more expressive with your message. But if you only focus on the worthiness issue, there's a tendency to be stuck there, right? You can feel that as something, internal. I can heal it. I can work through it. I can read powerful prosperity books. And I commit to working on my skill set. I commit to working on my mindset. I commit to working on my audacity, marketing, sales skills, right? Then I know if I am masterful, or I commit to masterful, I do my best. You know what always saves me from the ego trip of trying to stop me due to feeling unworthy. I chant to myself, if I showed up and I did my best, I let go of the rest. I did my best, I let go of the rest. I remember the very first retreat I've ever led, darlings, the very first retreat love event. Oh my goodness, I did my best, I let go of the rest, but I had no experience at that time of interacting with a very obsessive mind on the next day. The big critic arose next day after the event, and I just heard, you could have done this, you could have done that. Oh my God, this was not perfect. This was not perfect. And I just felt myself shrinking after a day before accomplishing such huge achievement, taking such leap of courage into expansion. So be aware that critic can arise next day after you do something brave, making an offer to a client, offering your program into the world, asking somebody on a date, right? Moving to a new place, whatever that is. The critic, after that brave choice, the critic will be right there, the inner critic. And that's the moment where you chant your mantra, I did my best, and I let go of the rest. And every time you do it better, and you elevate your service, and you elevate the way you do things. But remember, if all you ever required is just do your personal best and let go of the rest. But this book helps, my loves. The Law of Divine Conversation on compensation on work, money, and miracles. Really good one. And speaking about worth, because I brought you another book by Marianne Williamson, and it is called A Woman's Worth. So once again, for those of you who still feel that viscerally, viscerally, right? This is the book, especially for all my ladies. This book for me is so highlighted. Like, I work with my books. It's so highlighted everywhere. Look at this. And I read a paragraph and I chew on that. Like, I digest it with my whole body. And then I journal about it. And then maybe I'll do a live stream about it. But these two will be a powerful support for you every time you go through rebirth and you go through transformation. Gracie's coming out under the couch. Gracie is my cat. Let's just say my feline companion. Yeah. It's a full moon tomorrow. Full moon tomorrow, beloveds. And it was really on my heart to do a very simple ritual together through the power of our collective heart, through the power of a collective consciousness. So if you have a crystal, grab a crystal. I have my Lemurian crystals. There comes a day where I will share with you Lemurian message from Atlantis, deeply esoteric. It's coming through. That you are correct, Crystal. Full moon in Aquarius. And, you know, Aquarius is the opposite side of Leo, a complementary side. So my previous lifetime, I was Aquarius. And Aquarius is a humanitarian, right? There's this humanitarian heart that longs to be of service to humanity. Aquarius is incredible imagination, creativity. It's the higher mind, right? It is this ability to come up with genius creation. So we can tap into this energy of Aquarius. And on this full moon, I would love to conclude this live stream with a very simple ritual. If you would like to be a part of it, I invite you to close your eyes. And let's go internal into this rich inner world that you and I have. And begin to visualize your breath in the shape of a figure 8. Going from your belly all the way to your throat chakra in a figure 8, in an eternity symbol. With every breath, you slow down your conscious mind and you drop deeper into the wisdom of your body. You begin to become aware of the intelligent space that surrounds you. The space around you is not simply air. It is a field of information, light, vibration, codes, geometry, numbers, and universal mathematical code. And every time you take a moment to slow down your external activity and you take an inner voyage within, you build an intimacy with the profound, intelligent field around you. And every time you take this inner voyage, you begin to feel more and more receptive to the messages from your guides, light beings, angels, mineral kingdom, crystal kingdom. And you begin to realize and remember that you have this invisible team, and you begin to connect with them through the power of your heart. You know that they see you as a sovereign, divine human, and they would never disrespect your sovereign will through interfering with your decision making, with your choice making. And even though they delight in helping you, and they're so eager to help you, you need to ask. And it's okay to ask. Maybe you grew up as a little girl and a little boy where your asks were not honored. Where your voice was repressed. It's different now. You can begin to remember that your invisible spiritual team delights in you asking for guidance, illumination, signs, omens, synchronicities. So on this brilliant full moon, we have another opportunity to walk through the portal without any baggage. Begin to visualize yourself in front of the huge crystal door. It's a doorway into your next chapter. And you begin to notice that there's 2 heavy suitcases on each side of your body. You realize you set them down for a minute before crossing this doorway. And each suitcase is filled with outlived limiting beliefs, old fears, resentments, judgments of yourself, old hurts from criticism of others, lack of trust in life, guilt, shame, unprocessed repressed anger, and whatever else that only your body knows that's in those suitcases. You have an opportunity right now on this full moon to leave these suitcases behind you. And this visualization process is not a joke. This is real. Your subconscious mind takes your visual instructions literally. All it requires is an open mind and the innocence of a child, and simply a willingness to walk through the door. Taking a deep breath in. And when I count 2, 3, you're going to take a step with me if you're ready. If you're not ready, that's totally okay. But if you're ready to leave the suitcases behind, when I count to 3, we're going to take a step through this beautiful crystal door into the next phase of your life. Taking a deep inhale. 1. Another inhale. 2. And a third. Take an inhale. 3. Stepping through the door. Open your shoulders. Feel your wings. Visualize yourself completely submerged in the most radiant diamond light. This is the light of your higher self. Luxuriate in this glorious light, divine healing vibration. And now repeat after me. I choose my highest path. I choose my highest timeline. I choose my highest destiny. And so be it. And it is done. You declare it, and it is done. And when you're ready, you can gently open your beautiful eyes. Happy full moon, beloved ones. There is a reason why the greatest Olympian athletes of the world use visualization as a #1 technique of accomplishing their goals, winning their medals. Visualization is not a joke. It's going to feel like a joke if we approach it with half-heartedness. But if we bring all our devotion to developing this true superpower, is our ability to imagine. Our ability to imagine a better life, to imagine us happier, imagine us self-fulfilled. We're tapping into one of millions parallel realities that coexist with us, and we're calling it forward. We're nudging it forward. We're weaving our dreams into existence. Beloved hearts, it is such a gift to have your presence. Thank you, thank you, thank you for your exquisite presence, your attention, your willingness to learn, to hear, to receive, to let go. And just a few announcements. It is my duty to share with you what's coming up next. At the end of September 28 to 29, I am hosting a 2-day in-person intensive on the most evolutionary wisdom teachings called the Gene Keys. So whether you're a complete beginner or you are quite advanced, I never teach the same content twice. One of my students asked me, she says, Katerina, is it going to be the same as the previous workshop? And I said, darling, it's impossible for me to teach it the same way. So it will be in a new way. This information and this sacred knowledge will be presented to you. It's a great alchemical wisdom. And this event is very, very affordable. So please check it out. We have 15 spots out of 20, maybe 14 now. So check it out. It is the last 2-day intensive of the year that I'm hosting. And next year, I will be devoting all my time and all my energy to 11 months journey, 11-month program. So I am not sure if I'll be able to host another workshop next year, possibly. And if it's going to be, it's going to be not until next fall. So if Gene Keys draws you in, please check it out. It's a really powerful teachings, and I will be hosting next week 5 days of live streams, all devoted to the Gene Keys. And even if you decide not to attend the intensive, you will receive so much gold, because my intention for that is to give you the overview of this technology, sacred technology, how you can begin to see there is a specific thread of destiny that's coming through your life, and you begin to become like a decoder of your life path. The specific people are meant to come into your life, specific events coming into your life. So next week, tomorrow, I'm going to the Vision Quest, and I will be offline for the few days. But next week, I believe starting Monday, is going to be 5-day series of live streams all about our destiny, literally written in our DNA. And we can unlock it, we can call it forward, we can begin to live a completely different, beautiful life. If you would like to be on my email list, darlings, I write very sporadically. I don't bombard you with emails, and always value. I will add a link if you would like to stay connected, because I know some people take breaks from Facebook. You can also see it on my website, www.katerinasatori.com. I have 3 on-demand courses that can really support your evolution and your expansion. One of them is working with Ascended Masters. Some of you have shared with me that you desire to deepen your relationship with your spirit guides. Well, my beloveds, what if you could establish a relationship with Ascended Masters? The moment I start remembering my relationship with them, because Ascended Masters will only call to those souls who are on a rapid ascension process. And they're great, fantastic allies to have in your life. Each Ascended Master is a being that was human just like you and I, but who activated their DNA, their divine blueprint, to such degree that they were able to consciously take themselves off the wheel of karma, the wheel of death and rebirth, and they were able to preserve the memory of their past lives, and they became guardians of humanity. Not all Ascended Masters are guardians of humanity. Some are dedicated to us, humans, and some are watching over other systems and planets. So I put together a really powerful course that is on demand. If you go to my website, it's right there on the programs. It's very affordable. I taught it last year. I rarely teach the same course twice, my darlings. I'm just honest with you. You know, Sovereign Mind, I feel I'm going to teach it next year again, because it's an immersive experience. But Ascended Masters, I feel really complete with that program. It's on demand. You can walk through it at your pace. And there is a possibility that I will teach Frequency Shift live in December. I'm not promising anything, but there is a possibility. And if I do teach it live, I teach it in a completely new way, with a new perspective. And that's what I wanted to unveil, darlings. If you would like to attend Gene Key Intensive, I will be so happy to welcome you. And it's going to be in Laguna Beach. And at the end of September, we're going to have late summer, which is glorious beauty, glorious beauty. So that's what I wanted to share with you. And Ascended Masters course, my highest recommendation, if you are on Ascension path, you will learn about Atlantean priest and King Thoth, Hermes, Anubis, because they work together. You will learn about Saint Germain, Ascended Master Kuan Yin, Lady Nada, Mary Magdalene, Mother Mary, and one of my favorite, Serapis Bey. Ooh, that's a team to have on your side. And what I can testify is my leadership path has become so much stronger because of having such powerful and visible allies in my life. There's special protection. You know, they bring purification to you. They bring purification to you, but they also bring protection, and they bring a next level of grace into your life. So thank you so much for your presence. I am so grateful for you. This was exquisite to be with you. Be blessed, be blessed, be blessed. Celebrate this powerful portal of full moon. Rest, recharge, and remember that change is always for evolution. Uncertainty can absolutely feel like adventure when you remember that your attitude determines what happens next. And the key to that magical attitude is ability to open your heart to whatever comes your way. So for more, please review this live stream if you just joined, if you feel to do so. I love you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I will see you very soon, darlings. Bye. My